Well, I grew up in Pakistan and mostly in Rawalpindi and Islamabad. And I studied there. I went to college. I did my BFA in fine arts. Um, and then we moved here in 2000, actually, just before 9/11. We moved to US in 2000. So I have two sons, and they're both in their own like jobs and work. And I have two cats. Well, we were in Rochester in the beginning because we had some family members over there. So we went to upstate New York. We stayed there for about 7 years. And then we moved to North Carolina for a little bit. And then after that came here in Virginia. And it's almost 10 years now, 9, 10 years that we have been living here. And I just love being in this place because a lot of options and I've made new friends and teaching options, art options. So many things are open here for me, and I'm glad that we moved here. The life in Pakistan is quite different from life over here. You have a lot of support system, a big support system, family members, everybody who are looking after you, a lot of people doing work for you. So it's different. I was working for some time. I was working with a advertising agency as an art illustrator, and for some years, actually many years, I worked for a school, and that as an art teacher. And I enjoyed doing that. I was working with children, and then I was the administrator in that school for some time. And then after that, I left. I just wanted to be with my children and give them more attention as they were growing up. I was interested in art. I mean, ever since I could remember, I was interested in art. But something that really made me focus on it and think deeply about it was when my father, he used to travel a lot. And he used to travel to Holland a lot. So every time he used to come back, he used to bring pictures and calendars and diaries of from there. And those diaries and calendars, they always had a theme, and they always had a theme on an artist. So that's how I was introduced to European artists. And it was just fascinating. I learned a lot just by looking at those calendars and diaries. So that was giving fuel to my passion. Actually, when I was at that time, I was in high school and actually even middle school. So I started painting in oil at that time. So my father was very much interested in me in learning painting, whereas in Pakistan, it is not taken as it is not encouraged at all to be an artist and to learn art. Being in Pakistan and being a Muslim, it was difficult. But my father was, he was very advanced in that sense. So he was always encouraging me. He got me paints and stuff, all about materials, art, all the art supplies. And I started painting at a very young age. Oh, that was when I was really young. It was, I think I must be 10 years old or something, but I do remember it vaguely. It was a piece of wood that I don't know how I got that piece of wood. And I painted a figure on it, a sitting figure with a big shawl and with all and the colors were not oil paint because I was little. They were all watercolors, but gouache. They were opaque watercolors. So it came out very nice. And I don't know where it went after that, but I wish I had it to show you. But that was the first painting. And that is when I saw that everybody was looking at it and said, oh, this is good. This is, who made it? Oh, you made it. Oh, really? This is good. So I was letting all that appreciation, and everybody noticed about the artist in me at that time. I do calligraphy. I do English and Arabic calligraphy. I was trained by a master calligrapher, Abbas Baghdadi from Iraq. And he was the one who taught me calligraphy and also the art of illumination. It's like when I was here. And I was very fortunate to find him. And he was here for a little bit, for some years, I think 3 or 4 years. And at that time, I was like able to connect with him and take private classes and learn whatever he could like teach me at that time. It was, I mean, I was like working in an art store also for some time. And I just kept going. And the more you paint, the more you get better in it. And my passion was to paint in watercolors and oils. These are my like favorite mediums. But I do work in pastels and graphite, inks also. It's all about like, it's just a medium of expression. Like art is a medium of expression. You can, but a medium like do it in what, whether to do it in watercolor or oil, or it is just to express yourself through that medium. My main inspiration like have been nature, like different flowers, botanicals, and landscapes for a long time. I painted a lot of like floral paintings. But after, I mean, I was also like really drawn towards a poet, Pakistani poet. His name is Faiz Ahmed Faiz. And he is like one of my favorite poet. His poetry resonates with me. It is like something that connects with me immediately. And you will find his poetry on my paintings a lot. So if you go on my website, you'll be able to see a lot of them on my written on my painting. So the inspiration actually comes like when I'm reading his poetry, it is like something connects. And then after that, that something is created into, I formally make it into, express it into a painting. And I start planning about it. I think more about it. I make drawings about it, and then give it a formal, like a, make it into a formal painting. Um, Most of my work, which is more like things which are more expressive in the way that being an immigrant over here, I like things that I see around myself, and what like the whole journey that I took is expressed through my paintings. So if you look at those paintings, you'll find bits and pieces of these in there. Well, Shamsa means the sun, like Shams. It comes from word Shams in Arabic and in, I think, Farsi also. So Shamsa is something that, I mean, it's the sun. So it starts from the center and it explodes outwards. And it is like, it's very spiritual. It means a lot to me because it is the light of goodness. It is the light of the unseen. It is the light of on whom we believe. We believe in Allah. So it is the light that is radiated from the center. And then the radiation of light is like, there's no limit to where it reaches. So if I, like in the shamsas that I have made, if you look at them, they become like a web kind of a thing. And it is to represent that something that starts from the center, it has no end. You can make it as big and expand it as much as possible, and it just explodes. So the goodness and in your heart, or it can, like, it can just, there's no limit to it. It will just go on and on. This is also one of my work. This is called Senai. And actually, this also has Faiz Ahmad Faiz's poetry on it. The calligraphy that I have done on it is very contemporary calligraphy. It's in Urdu. The piece which is in the center, it is like just like the Mosque of Aqsa, the Dome of the Rock, and it has those sides. So it actually represents Jerusalem, that everything is starting from there, and it is like just like a shamsa. It is starting from one point and it is expanding all over. And this design, the octagon, is a very popular design in the Islamic tradition. If you look at the Islamic art, you will find this like 8-sided shamsa in a lot of like woodwork, in illuminations, in metalwork, in fabric, everywhere. So this is like a piece which is made of clay on top, and there's like gold leaf at the back. So you can see a bit of shimmer in it. And then it also represents the chaos, a very systematic chaos in the world. How everything is like, it is chaotic, yet it is moving and somebody is doing it. Someone is doing it, and it is chaotic, yet it is moving. So it's a very deep, like a piece which is very dear to me. Yes, I do teach at the Smithsonian in the Ripley Center, and I'm a Smithsonian associate. I teach botanicals and in watercolor, and I also teach journaling, which is like art journaling. And you, most of the time in this age, like especially in this time, we are so much inclined towards taking photographs, and there are thousands of photographs that we have collected on our cloud, on our phones, and which we never go back and see. And it's very, and we send them to people, and we always like, it's like, on social media, and then it's gone. It's gone. So I have a painting which is very close to my heart, and it's called F8. If you go on my website, you'll be able to see that. That is like the place where I was raised in Islamabad. And the sector was called, like the sector's name was F8. So my home, my parents' home is still there. And I have so many good memories about it. And I also know a lot of roads that go around that place. So there's a painting which has F8 in it, and also a lot like the map of like all the roads which are around F8, and the roads where I used to like go a lot, use a lot. So I'm like so much associated. I feel kind of like affection for that place. You'll see the birds that are converging, red birds which are converging towards the home where I lived. So that is the theme of the painting is that. And there's a poem that I wrote on it, which is by Faiz Ahmad Faiz. And when he was exiled from Pakistan, and he had to like leave the country. He missed it very much, and at that time he wrote this poem. And when I read this poem, it just resonated with me so much. So I can read the poem for you. Mere dil mere musafir हुआ फिर से हुक्म सादिर कि वतन बदर हो हम तुम दें गली गली सदाएं करें रुख नगर नगर का कि सुराग कोई पाए किसी यार नामा बर का हर एक अजनबी से पूछें जो पता था अपने घर का सिरे कुए नाशनाइयां हमें दिन से रात करना कभी इससे बात करना कभी उससे बात करना तुम्हें क्या कहूं कि क्या है शबे गम बुरी बला है हमें ये भी था गनीमत जो कोई शुमार होता हमें क्या बुरा था मरना अगर एक बार होता. So the last couplet is by another poet, which Fez liked very much. So he included the last two lines from his poetry into his poetry. So if you want, I can just read the English version. My heart, my fellow traveler, it has been decreed again that you and I be exiled. Go calling out in every street, turn to every town to search for a clue of a messenger from our beloved, to ask every stranger the way back to our home. In this town of unfamiliar folk, we grudge the day into the night, talk to this stranger at times and to that one at others. How can I convey to you, my friend, how horrible is a night of loneliness? It would suffice to me if there were just some count. I would gladly welcome death if it were to come but once. So
Beautiful.
this is
Beautiful.
like, and I mean, I feel I don't feel lonely anymore, but I do miss my friends, my family. We had a group like when I was in college. We had a group in fine arts, and we were very close friends. And we used to like paint together and go watch movies together, which we were not supposed to do actually, but it was like taking time out. My family, we were
Okay.
not allowed to go by ourselves to watch movies.
Okay.
And when you are a teenager and you are growing up, you want to do everything that you're not supposed to do. So that is what was like. We were like, we just used to like get together and go watch a movie, or and then come back, paint and read books, and like most of the time it was a very happy time. But at times when like I mean, when I remember my years when I was growing up, it was a happy time, and it was a very quiet time. It was a time that you can like look around and really absorb and see what is going on. And then all of a sudden things started moving very fast. Like everything was like the technology was becoming popular, and everything was moving so fast that you could you had to move fast with it to keep up with everything that was changing. But before that, it was like I remember the summers that we used to spend long summer afternoons. And there's a tradition in Pakistan to like sleep, to take a nap, a long nap in the afternoon. And we don't have the luxury right now. I mean, it's like it, but it was the tradition when in Pakistan. I do. I'm like, I mean, a few of my friends are still in touch, but not most of them. A
And
few of
there,
them, yeah. These days I'm actually, because of like the COVID-19, we are like bound and at home, and so I have like a routine set for myself so that I stay focused, and it's not like, you know, you just have to do like something in a systematic way to make life easier for yourself. So I had some projects which I started and was not able to finish them. So these days I'm working on those. And in particular, I'm working on a journal, which is again a art journal, but it's my family journal. So I have like, so it's like going back in those times. It's taking me back with my friends, with my cousins, everybody. Yeah, in the beginning it was very lonely, and there is a cultural shock also. We used to come here. I mean, we had like been here for 2 3 times, but when you come and visit US, it is like it's a totally different story. But when you start living, it is like you start getting all the like realities. You start seeing all the other realities that are not there when you are just visiting. And yeah, so I used to like miss, first of all, my family a lot when after coming here. And then slowly and gradually, I started making friends. And then, you know, the place where your friends are, they start becoming your like home. That place starts becoming your home. So, I mean, this is home to me now. And I think of myself more related to this culture and this like my group of friends over here and the things that I do over here than when I was in Pakistan.
Have you faced any kind of challenges here in the US because of your identity and your background?
uh, Challenges as I like said earlier, that being a Muslim and an artist, it is not easy. There is like a little bit of that um, like judgment already there when somebody looks at my work, that maybe it's Islamic art, whereas it's not. It is about social issues, it's about justice, it's about peace, and how to relate everything together and make the world a better place for us to live and to understand. So it was a little bit like that, but then uh, not that I would say that um, I faced any like particular challenge. It was I got a lot of like appreciation also. People over here are, most of the people are very generous, and they are appreciative to your style of work, because I call myself American, but I bring a lot of baggage with me from my country. So my work is a fusion of my country and this country. So my work is Americanized work.
Mm-hmm.
At home. I was at home and I was having my breakfast with my husband, and we saw the whole thing on TV at the moment. I mean, they were showing on TV, and it was devastating. And it was just, I mean, we couldn't believe it. And I mean, nobody could believe that such a horrific thing could happen. And I think we came at a time which was not good for the Muslims. We came in 2000, and just before 9/11. And we did see, like, especially as an artist, I saw different sides of people. I saw people who were hateful and who were not inviting at all, and there were some people who went out of their way to help and to be with me, to be with my family. And they were like, angels. Like, if I and they actually, at that time, people who helped me and stood up for me, the Americans, they became my best friends, and they are like, they're friends still now. They are more than friends now. They're like family members. So this is how it is. So there's goodness and there's evil everywhere. So it's not about a particular place that you can associate it with. That it is like, it can be anywhere in the world, it can be here. It is all about, like, there's goodness and then there's evil also. Oh, well, it is about, humanity, to connect with humanity, not look at the race and gender. And same goes like for anyone. I'm now talking about non-Muslims, Muslims, white, brown, black, blue, whatever color, man, a woman, any gender, anyone. So the first and foremost thing that we should always be looking at is humanity. And when you start looking at that, everything else blurs. And it brings out the goodness in everyone. And that is what I saw after 9/11, the humanity in a lot of people, the love that was pouring out. And then at the same time, there was hate also that was pouring out. But if you connect with humanity, love always takes over the evil. Well, first of all, like being a Muslim artist, you know that it's not encouraged in our culture, especially in a Muslim family household, to become an artist. It is like a no-no, and which is so important that art, any kind of art, it gives you an ability to think and to be softer in your heart, and then connect. It gives you an opportunity to connect with other people. So what I see is like a lot of people, they over here in America, like Muslims living in America. Um, I do understand that some like people, when they migrate here, they want to have stable jobs and they want to have their like children also all well settled. But there are a few professions that are stressed upon in our culture to our children to take. And that is, I mean, I'm not like against any profession at all professions are very good, but the thing is, to become an artist, to go into art fields is discouraged till now in this like 21st century also. Few I have seen forcefully all like Pakistani children becoming doctors. But I mean, it's fine. But what happens is we need to have people who are thinking on a different level, people who are giving a different color to life, people who can see a different side of the society also, and people who connect in a different way to different people. And with art, I strongly feel it does have its own language. And you connect whether you are a dancer or a writer or a poet or a painter, you connect with people. It doesn't have any boundaries of color, race, anything at all. It just connects with the people with the same humanity, same heart, and same inspirations. We all have a little bit of art in ourselves. My husband takes photographs. He's a like amateur photographer, and my sons, they have their own jobs, but they have been always appreciative towards art, and they have a very, very good eye, and they can draw. Um, and they are my biggest critique also. Well, one thing that I learned in life is like to just keep going and keep practicing. If you're whatever you are doing, don't stop. And do if your heart is in it, then do it. If your heart is not in what you are doing, don't push yourself in doing it. I have learned art in college, but after that, most of the time I am self-taught. I do take workshops, attend seminars and things like that, but it is all about practice and working and growing as an artist. You shouldn't be, as an artist, stay in one place. It should, as an artist, you should grow and move forward. And that can only be done if you keep working, because there's no shortcut to experience. So that is what I would like my new generation to take. You asked me that why was it like that Muslim children are discouraged. There is one aspect that I already discussed about like children, how people want them to not take up art. That's a different aspect of the thing. But the main thing also is like art has never been encouraged in the Muslim tradition. Um, it is not in the tradition to draw figurative drawings, and it was frowned upon. And I remember in the beginning, my father was also like very, he was like not sure of like allowing me to be an artist or work, take art as a subject or not. It is because of religion. It is because of religion that he was like, he didn't want me to make figures. So the first thing that he told me when I took my fine arts as a subject was to tell me that, oh, you can make anything else, whatever you want, but you're not going to make any figures. So which I said, yeah, I will not. But as I was like studying, it was compulsory for us to make drawings of people, life drawings and portraits, and which I did just for the sake of getting my degree. But after that, I didn't pursue in making portraits and figure drawings. And that is why, that is the reason when you see Islamic art, you'll find that there are not a lot of like, not, I mean, figurative drawing is missing in the Islamic art. And I would not say that I miss any like figurative drawing in it. Art by itself in the Islamic tradition is beautiful, and it's more of geometric and floral design. It's a combination of that. It can be just geometric or just floral, or it's a combination of both. And you'll find them all over the place in the Middle East or in the Islamic world.